It's Sunday, June 15th in the evening. Yeah, about 10 to 7 at the time that I started recording this. So, welcome to the channel. Joey Only Caribou Weather Dude YouTube channel here with all your weather across Western Canada, wilderness stories, and whatever else I feel like making here on the channel because I do what I want. Okay, hit like, share, subscribe. Or don't if you do what you want. Okay, let's get on with the show. There it is. This is bad news.
Oh my God. Anything could happen.
I'll watch the video later. They try mopping this. Okay, well, the next week ahead, looking at our work week weather, it's a little bit of the porridge that Goldilocks chose for us here in British Columbia. Not too hot, not too cool. Nice, fair spring conditions still maintaining for us. A lot of lightning in Western Canada, though. Severe thunderstorms have been going on in the prairies the last number of days, and some of that will be continuing. And we're going to have a little bit of our own thunderstorm activity here in British Columbia as we get through the week. First in the Peace area, and that'll be ranging right up into the Yukon and through to the Northwest Territories. But later in the week, the Caribou should be, Prince George area should be a bit of a target. Okay, let's have a look at all the maps. Is our area of upper level low still being persistent up there? Still being the persistent feature off our northwest coast there in the Gulf of Alaska. And this reminds me of other years we've had too, like 2019, where that persistent upper level low just kept digging in there and sending a lot of moisture inland at times and a lot of instability. So you can see during the week, we're going to have more of this sort of garbage that throws into us as it tries to move inland somehow this low. It doesn't really have too much success in moving inland, just kind of sputters around out there, keeps sending lingering nonsense to us as new areas of low pressure develop into the interior of the continent. And we might see a significant number of storms next weekend through the prairies. Looks like a real big one's going to be developing there, 991 millibar low. But as you can see, here comes our next one kind of sputtering around out there. And we'll see. I mean, now we're looking a week out. We'll see if it can kind of still win the story in this Gulf or if this high pressure can start to win the story. So that's the real big battle for, I think, spring into summertime weather for British Columbia is who's going to win. If that upper level low pattern is sitting there, it can often push this high pressure back and keep us into more unsettled conditions, sometimes even hammering us directly with storms like in years past. And June can be very, very, very wet. Now, I'm not seeing extremely wet signals necessarily as we look into the later parts of the month, but I do see that persistent feature is still expected to be there. So that will keep our temperatures down a little bit, keep our cloud cover there a little bit, give us precipitation at times, and is generally favorable, I think. If we look at what the jet stream's delivering us, we see it's kind of a weak jet stream in Western Canada right now as the instability kind of lingers, but there's our low off the coast, shoveling it into southern BC, into the south there, shoveling it in, and then that's how that new low will end up forming. It will follow that track. So this low will kind of die off and a new one will form. You could argue they're the same low. Yeah, you could definitely argue that. And to me, it is. So if we look at what's going on this evening, a little bit of thunderstorms will still be continuing, perhaps in that Alberta corridor near Brandon Houck and Brooks, Alberta. A little bit of lingering rain through northeast Manitoba, northwest Ontario. Haida getting hit very, very hard by this low, the one we've just been talking about that's kind of lingering around out there trying to do something. Overnight, it is doing something to Haida. It's delivering big time wind to them, big time rain. Be just another average day on Haida, I guess. So you can see that persistent pattern I'm talking about trying to establish itself there. There's that next guy off the line there. Looking at Monday, 2 in the morning. Okay, well, no one's going to work at 2 in the morning, are you? Well, it looks pretty good to start the day here in BC. We'll just skip ahead a little bit to 9 a.m. and see what's going on now. You can see thunderstorms are starting to pop up in Saskatchewan, maybe a little bit of lingering showers out there. Oh, and that moisture will help fire up into thunderstorms. We're going to see a lot of thunderstorms fire up now from Saskatchewan straight up into the Yukon and even into Alaska. So we're looking at this thunderstorm day happening on Monday across the board here. This gives you an idea into that northern section of the Rockies, into the Fort Nelson far reaches, a little bit into the Rockies here, even a little bit down towards that stretch between McBride and Prince George there, the Highway 16 stretch, maybe seeing some of the pop-up in southern BC. Yeah, depending on how warm it can get there, we'll see how strong the thunderstorms can be. But looks like some parts of the southern interior are pretty warm, pretty warm. So we're seeing temperatures down there in the 27s, right? When you look at the Caribou, more in the low 20s. Still pretty nice weather, A touch warmer on the prairie side. Up into the Northwest Territories, 26. Unbelievably warm there, and very warm over by Winnipeg, southern Manitoba, into the high 20s, whatnot, on Monday afternoon. So that should give us a little indication as to what kind of thunderstorm activity we'll end up seeing because of that warmth. That could lead to a couple isolated cells being pretty strong in southern British Columbia. So be watching for lightning down there. Been a little bit of rain, at least at times down there. These aren't particularly heavy rain thunderstorms. But unfortunately, that's the way it is. But we'll take our rain however we can get it, I guess, right? We've seen a few new fire starts. I know there's a few in the Caribou today because of lightning strikes last night. But again, I don't think the fire activity will be all that aggressive right now because heat and wind and the conditions just aren't, the humidex values aren't really there to make fires really take off. So I think a lot of those fires, ministry will be able to get a handle on them pretty quick, get them sort of wrapped up and get a guard around them, and let's go. I mean, I seen one was 4 hectares. That's not very big, folks, when it's looking at wildfires. I've been on lots that were small like that, and you could wrap them in a day or two, if conditions weren't too bad. A little bit of active burning, sure. Okay, coming into Tuesday early morning, a little bit of thunderstorm activity in central Alberta around Edmonton, whatnot. Of course, they had a lot of funnel clouds through the weekend in that region. A lot of early morning boomers for you in that part of Alberta. People going to be waking up to the sound of thunder in their neighborhood. Tuesday, we're going to see thunderstorm activity again popping up across southern Alberta, across northern Alberta, up into northern BC, into the Yukon, into Alaska. We have widespread interior thunderstorms going on again on Tuesday. Maybe a little lingering precip into BC, maybe a couple flashes of lightning. Can we see that in British Columbia on Tuesday? Well, let's go. We'll get back to 2 o'clock in the afternoon and see what we're expecting. Mostly in that northeast corner for British Columbia, strong in southern Saskatchewan, southern Alberta, strong through a long stretch of Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, northern BC, and then again, Yukon and Alaska seeing that risk of lightning inland. So fire starters, not a great deal of rain with a lot of those, although sometimes they deliver rain in funny ways, and of course they deliver occasionally very heavy localized rain that can be damaging or flooding like we've seen at times in the prairies this weekend as well. So that's kind of the unfortunate thing. Haida really not having a very nice start to the week. Still Tuesday evening, kind of garbagey for you. Yeah, sorry about your luck up the coast. But your coastal people, you can kind of get used to it. Tuesday night, do we have a couple flashes of lightning in the Prince George area? Yeah, maybe a little bit of rainfall moving through past Burns Lake into Fort St. James and things like that. Up the north coast, up northern tip of Vancouver Island, sort of staying dry in that southern part of BC still nonetheless. A little bit of lingering thunderstorms through southern Alberta Wednesday overnight. A touch of rain. We're going to see more rain develop in that Fort St. John area again. Good news for you guys up through the Peace. We're going to see more rain start to pick up there Wednesday into Thursday for you guys. So good news for your wildfires up there. You keep taking a bit of rain, and eventually that keeps reducing fire behavior and gets enough areas dead that something can happen there. So thunderstorms again on Wednesday, starting early in the day. Strong signals. Look at this. From Ontario, right across through the Dakotas, Manitoba again, all the way across. For us in the Caribou, yeah, we're a go. Alberta's a big time go. Saskatchewan's a big time go. We're going to see thunderstorms capping off all over the place again on Wednesday. The severe weather is not going to quit for us in the Caribou, although maybe a little bit rainier storms. Strong thunderstorm signal for us up into the Peace, South Peace. Strong signal for you in the Dawson Creek area, down into Alberta, Grand Cache and whatnot through there. Yeah, we are seeing Wednesday, I'm sorry, again into the Yukon and into Alaska. Fire starting scenarios where we're seeing thunderstorms across a wide spread of BC. Williams Lake probably going to see some up and down that Highway 16 corridor, down 97 corridor, Quesnel Lake, looking good. We're going to see a lot of lightning into the region, but a little bit of rain with it too. These aren't incredibly dry storms like some of the ones we saw last week, but big time signals Wednesday into the evening. Going to be quite a bit of rain, quite a bit of lingering lightning, instability going on. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be out filming somewhere. You can bet I'm going to be watching really close as we get to Wednesday to figure out where the strongest ones are going to be and if I can afford to go to them. That's why it's a good reason to keep coming to the channel and watching videos, because that ad revenue keeps me going and whatnot. If you have YouTube memberships, I still get a little something from YouTube for every view. And of course, you can always hit the thanks button or whatnot. There you go, into the piece. That strong rain continuing into Thursday morning. Looking good for you to take quite a bit of rain. So that's nice, again, for that South Peace area, but not the Fort Nelson and northeast of. No, and not the North Rockies. They're not really getting it. They're not getting that heavy rain over by Cold Lake, Alberta, into Meadow Lake and whatnot. Saskatchewan Thursday, probably looking a little later for BC for a thunderstorm development, so maybe into the late afternoon, evening, and look at some of these signals for Saskatchewan. They're going to be seeing some strong thunderstorms again. Still raining into the Peace on Thursday. Some heavy rain coming to you up there, so that's good news for you, I think, this week. In terms of you need the rain. You really do. That whole region needs the rain. Thursday night, seeing some lingering thunderstorms still in the Caribou. Yes, bring it on. I want to see some more lightning. That's great news. That rain just still hanging out along that band. Their forecast. And we really saw that same thing last week. We saw kind of like a band just across northern BC dump quite a bit of rain. So we're hoping for you that at least some part of the piece takes rain, because they've been needing it for a long time. And then Friday, maybe a little bit of a nicer day for us here. But the temperatures we're looking at this week, we'll try to go to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. High 20s in southern BC, pretty nice. Into the areas you expect to be pretty warm. Mid 20s to the Caribou. Chillier in the mountains still, including here in Wells, chillier. Pretty warm up in the Peace still. Low 20s for them as well. So that's looking at, of course, Monday. Let's jump ahead to Tuesday. What kind of warmth are we going to see at Tuesday afternoon? Much the same again. Mid 20s to low 20s for central BC, mid to high 20s for southern BC, low 20s for the Peace, teens for interior BC in the north, including Burns Lake and whatnot. Cooler along the west coast as well because of that lingering instability. If we look at Wednesday, because of the thunderstorm activity, that's going to knock temperatures down a little bit, right? Alberta getting pretty warm on that side. 28 for Medicine Hat there. Very, very warm on Wednesday for southern Alberta. Not so much for BC, because our thunderstorms are going to be the reason that we don't have much for warmth. Look at this kicking off into Thursday. Later in the day on Thursday, into the 30s in southern Saskatchewan. Pretty warm in Manitoba and Alberta as well. Warm up in the Yukon. Wow, Dawson City at 24. Look at this heat anomaly up into the 28 with all that lightning that's expected to go on up there. Do you think that there's going to be, with that heat, fire starting in the Alaska? Yeah, we got a fire store coming to Alaska. I'm pretty sure that's hard to avoid when you look at that. Yeah, definitely. Heat anomalies way up in the far north. Very spooky, very strange. Friday again, what are we looking at for BC? Again, fair weather. Not too hot, not too cold. Just the way Goldilocks liked it. Hope you enjoyed that little run through of what I'm expecting to see this week. And as we get going, I'll have individual stories popping off about all these individual things. Maybe we'll be looking at thunderstorms in the Peace tomorrow a little more closely. Maybe come Tuesday, we'll be looking at the thunderstorms through the Caribou. We expect to see Wednesday and Thursday more. So keep coming back to the channel. Keep supporting me. Like, share, subscribe. I feed off that very much. Thanks, everybody. Hope you have a great evening. Hope you had a great day. We'll talk to you next time. Bye for now.